got a phone call from CNN,
Chief Technology.
and they're in Atlanta, and they said, I need you in the studio tomorrow morning to be able to talk about Mark Zuckerberg and Cambridge Analytica. Do you guys remember that? Senator, we'd run ads, all the controversy. I remember flying into Atlanta to the CNN building. It's the most bomb-threatened building on the planet, even more than the bombs that you have here, right? 3 layers of security, makeup. They had a thing in my ear. I was so nervous because they had 7 different TV cameras, and they did the countdown. And I saw there was a TV over here that had my face on it. And then this is what happened. I was like, I cannot believe I'm on TV.
Facebook's role
Live
in
TV,
it?
2.
Dennis Yu is the Chief
3,
Technology Officer for
4,
Blitz Metrics.
5,
joining us now
6,
on set, an industry
7,
insider,
8,
an expert. Good to have
9,
you with us.
10. And I had friends who were at the airport. They were getting on the flight, and they looked up and they said, Dennis, you're on TV, but were you high? What was going on? And in that moment, in front of 3.5 million people, I didn't know what to say because I got asked questions like, should Facebook be regulated like cigarettes? And what should happen? Should they be broken up? They brought Mark Zuckerberg on, who doesn't like me. He and I have argued many times. If we had more time, I'd tell you about some of the things that he and I have said together. So they asked Mark Zuckerberg, do you think that you should be regulated? And then they came to me and they said, Dennis, what do you think? Oh no, I don't agree with them. And Mark Zuckerberg says, oh no, it's about freedom, and we're not a publisher. And I said, yes, but look at all the spam and look at all this. So going back and forth with Mark Zuckerberg in front of 3.5 million people live. And I got some phone calls from friends who were executives at Facebook. And they said, Dennis, you can't be saying things like that on TV, right? I said, I don't work for you. I can say whatever I want. And I thought, oh man, I'm never going to be invited back on CNN. I'm never going to be invited back to Facebook's headquarters because we're there every couple of weeks. I love to eat their food. This is proof. And actually, I got invited back 5 more times to Atlanta because every time Mark Zuckerberg said something stupid or there's some kind of controversy, they said, come on over. We need you on TV to talk about this latest thing that happened, right? And that just goes to show that if you, in whatever area you are selling, whatever products or services you have, if you are able to tell stories and build authority in a certain way, I'm going to show you how. All right, let's go back. Let's go to the presentation. This is going to work for you. Now, you don't have to be on CNN for this to work. One of my friends, he runs a teeth whitening service. His name is Josh Snow. And Floyd Mayweather, have you heard of him? He's a boxer. So I was arguing with Floyd Mayweather, and Floyd Mayweather said, oh no, our reviews are really good. And I said, oh yeah, well, whatever. And then Gary Vaynerchuk and I have gone back and forth. So I'm telling stories about how Gary Vaynerchuk and I have done things together. But does this mean you have to be with Gary Vaynerchuk? No, there's so many other people that have authority in different areas, whether it's on stage or whether it's friends that you know. Every opportunity I can spend with Itai, I want to be able to interview him. And we're building it into this structure. We're not just randomly live streaming what's going on. We're building it into the structure we call the topic wheel. And that's 3 layers of a funnel. You guys have heard of the funnel? A lot of people call it awareness, consideration, conversion, right? But I want you to rethink of that as why, how, and what. Everyone understands what, which is what you're selling. But the how is one level up, the education. And one level up from that is the why, which is your meaning. Why you're doing this, telling stories. And everything that I'm showing you here is a framework that you can follow so you can have your marketing be as precise as if you are a medical doctor or as if you are an attorney. Because the cost of traffic on Facebook is increasing. Go back one. Back. Back. That stop. Nope. Forward. One more. Forward. Stop. Okay. The number one thing limiting people in their Facebook ads, you know what it is? It's not the ads tool. It's not Facebook taking away targeting. It's that their content sucks. And what we like to say is that you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shiitake. So you have this filing cabinet in the middle here, and you have inputs that come into it, then you have processing that occurs in the middle, especially video content. You have to edit it in a certain way. That's why you need a team of people to do it. And then you have an output. So you're putting it out on Facebook. You're putting it on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on your website, on YouTube, which is great right now, right? All these different things. And think of this content factory is working for you, even if it's just you as a small team. Even if Because a lot of people will see our examples, like what we've done for like a Nike or Rosetta Stone, and they'll say, oh, I don't have those kinds of budgets. We've had some clients that will spend $1 million per day on Facebook ads, like Rosetta Stone during Black Friday. And they'll say, it doesn't apply to me. I don't have that kind of budget. This will work for you for $1 a day. All these techniques that I'm showing you, you can do with free apps on your phone if you are not technical. And that is the #1 problem I see with people trying to run Facebook ads, is that they're not producing video content in a particular format that tells stories, that sequences from the why to the how to the what. So let's talk about the most common thing I hear. Oh, my Facebook ads aren't working. Oh, I tried Facebook ads and it didn't work. Really? So you went to the gym, you worked out really hard for 3 hours, but then you don't have six-pack abs. You look down and you say, this gym doesn't work. This equipment's a scam, right? I don't have six-pack abs. It's all about your process on how you tune. It takes some time to build relationships. So first, are your ads delivering? If they're not delivering, it could be because you have some disapproval. There's a lot of disapprovals. A lot of problems are happening right now on Facebook, right? The more political problems they have, the more you're going to see disapprovals because they become more conservative about that. And the more changes they have on the system, the more you're going to see their system have lots of bugs. Like the last 2 weeks, you've seen a lot of bugs. That means they're rolling out new things. So there's a certain process in how you take care of ad disapproval. Basically, you use chat. If you have a rep, oftentimes they don't really tell you what's going on. Have you had an ad disapproved before? Be careful. Have you had your account banned before? It's a problem. No one wants to admit that they're that. But that's the mark of you really being a pro. If you have not been banned on Facebook, then you haven't really gone very far, right? It's just a matter of time. So let's say you were able to go past that. Then if you're not getting volume, because people say, yes, I put the custom audiences there, I have the pixels, I have the email audiences, but I'm not generating volume. Okay, are you generating zero volume or not enough volume? If you're not getting enough volume, then we need to make it profitable. And that means you're going to break it down into this particular structure. So you have revenue minus cost, that's your margin, but any particular metric has underlying metrics. For example, if you are not profitable, then it could be that the revenue component isn't strong enough because of your lifetime value, because of your price, because of your conversion rate, other things that don't justify the cost that you're spending, right? So if you're able to get more money per product because you're upselling, because you're cross-selling, because you're using other channels, because you're remarketing, then you can afford to spend more and beat your competitors, right? You can outspend your competitors on Google Ads, on Facebook, YouTube, whatever it is. And it could be on the cost side. This is what we see more commonly, that your content isn't designed well enough to drive the conversion. And so do you know what happens if you get negative feedback on Facebook? Your cost goes up. Facebook penalizes you. I'm not saying just your cost per click, or if your click-through rate's lower, then your cost per click is up. That's true. I'm saying Facebook actually will penalize you on negative feedback. And we're going to log into some ad accounts. I'm going to show you. I bet you've never seen it before at a presentation where someone exits the PowerPoint and goes live into ad accounts, and I'll just show you from many, many different accounts. When you go all the way down to the conversion level, you're looking at things like CPC, CPM. They're diagnostic metrics that go all the way up to whether your campaign is profitable or not. And you'll find that your relevance score, which no longer is being shown by Facebook, you can break down into 3 other further components. And the most important one we look at as kind of the canary in the coal mine, as the best diagnostic metric, is your average CPM. How much you're spending per 1,000 impressions. And you might say, I don't care about that because I'm looking at my cost per lead, I'm looking at my CPA, I'm looking at ROAS. But if your CPM is above $8, which is, 24, 25 shekels, that's a signal that something is wrong in your ad account. So if you drove a car over here, do you know the check engine light? And it says, oh, something's wrong with the car, right? But they don't tell you why. That's what's going on, the check engine light, right? So we're going to look at some accounts on how to do that. What is this? Press play on that. I don't remember this. Oh, go back out. Let's go back to the presentation. Actually, you know what? Let's go into an ad account. Fair enough. That's okay. We're already here. Now, this is my friend Brennan, and he sells pet socks. And I'll show you an example of one of his ads. By the way, he's 19 years old. Last Christmas, he did $2 million. The Christmas before, he did something like $1.3 million. He'll do close to $3 million this Christmas as a 19-year-old selling socks. Let's play this ad just to show you as an example. Very clear, right? You want to be able to show your pet's face, your face on the socks. And you can see, press pause, you can see that it has 11 million views, 16,000 people like it, lots of shares. And look, the ratio of shares to likes is very high. Why is that important? Do you think Facebook's looking at that? I used to run analytics at Yahoo. Do you guys remember Yahoo? That was me. I was an early employee at Yahoo. I retired 15 years ago. I'm doing this for fun because I want to see you guys. I have nothing to sell you. I'm here just to share. And we were looking at Yahoo, for example, we were looking at people that were clicking through search results. And this is just me being an idiot 20 years ago, but I thought, well, the more people that are searching on Yahoo and the more time they spent on Yahoo, then the better, of an experience we have and the more competitive we're doing and the better we're doing, right? Wrong. And what we wanted to do was actually, if someone clicked on a search result in the first 1, 2, or 3 search results, we wanted them to leave. If they came back, what does that mean? They didn't find what they want, and then they move to the next search result, and they click on that, and then they click back to the search results. What does that mean? If you want to hurt somebody, a competitor in Google search, just theoretically what you might do is click on their ad, a lot of people do that, and then click back to the search results. Yeah, don't do that. I'm just saying hypothetically you might do that, right? And so do you think that Facebook is looking at signals like that? They are, because the people that built the analytics and the ad platform for Facebook came from Google. And the people that built the analytics and the ads for Google, they came from Yahoo. They're on my team. I trained them up. I just turned 45. I'm probably one of the oldest people here, of the original internet marketers. And so we built the same systems that were constantly looking at user feedback. Now let's go into the ad account, the previous tab, and show you how that's the case. Now you can see in this ad account, just this month, we've spent $175,000 on Facebook ads. Is that a lot of money over here? Maybe Israel's a smaller country. Is this like a medium amount of money, or is this a high amount of money? Is this a high amount of money? Okay, so this is only, whatever, $6,000, $7,000 per day. But look at the campaigns. The way the campaigns are organized, let's make the type a little bit bigger. You can see that most of them are remarketing campaigns. Who here is aware of remarketing? Keep your hand raised if you're using remarketing. Who is not using remarketing? Whoever's not using remarketing, you need to talk to your friend who raised the hand and say, help me understand. Remarketing through the pixel, remarketing through website, through email audiences, remarketing through any other kind of data you can purchase or share. Now let's scroll down through some of the campaign names and look at how they're named. Prospecting. Now, prospecting is we're using lookalike audiences. But our lookalike audiences are based on a very particular set of custom audiences, our very best purchasing customers. So if we know they bought something last year for Christmas or whatever holiday or their birthday or whatever, they're probably going to do the same thing next year, right? But you're going to have to feed that back in the Facebook. If you know it's for their birthday, then show them another birthday ad. Are you doing that segmentation with your custom audiences? I bet you're not. And I bet you're not tying in with your CRM. There's lots of tools that will take your data and push it to Google and Facebook automatically, both ways, right? From Google back to your CRM and vice versa. So wherever they go, your remarketing is going to work super well. Let's keep looking at some of these campaign names. Prospecting. Now you see the names of them here, like LLA, which is lookalike audiences. We're testing different lookalike audiences. Now what do you think happens as Facebook is the machine, the algorithm, very, very intelligent. It's always listening. It knows what you're doing, right? You ever see ads? It's like, it's too smart. What do you think happens when you're starting to push your website data and CRM data and other stuff, and you're starting to generate sales through the system? What do you think happens to the quality of your lookalike audiences? It gets better. And then what happens? The system gets smarter. And then you don't have to do a lot of optimization. You know what the number one sign is? And the folks from, is anyone from Facebook here? Oh, good, I can say some things because we like to argue. You know what the number one sign is of someone who is brand new at Facebook ads and is junior and doesn't know what they're doing? What is it? Yes, optimizing all the time. I was guilty of this too. I remember, you may have seen my articles from a dozen years ago. So I first started advertising on Facebook when they opened the platform in May 2007. That tells you how old I am in terms of like building ads. And I was constantly changing things because I wanted to show how sophisticated I was. And that's the same thing as if you take a seed and you plant it. You want to grow a tomato. The tomatoes here are delicious. Absolutely love it. I don't know what you're doing. Maybe it's the soil, right? And then 10 minutes later, you say, it hasn't grown yet. And then you put it back. And then you come back 10 minutes later, and you want to try it again. And you're like, oh, these seeds, they're defective. I need something else, right? How many gardeners are going to do that? Every 10 minutes, come and pull up the plant and see what's going on. What do you think happens every time you touch your ad campaign on Google or Facebook? What happens? What? Yeah, or changing. You change the price, you change the creative, you change the targeting, you change the bid, you change the objective. What happens when you change anything? Yes, the learning curve resets from zero again. So if you have a campaign that's working and it's driving sales, and then you touch it, it's like when your aircraft takes off and you're at 40,000 feet and you're going very fast, and all of a sudden zero. You're right on the ground, and now you have to take half an hour all the way up to the cruise altitude again. Do you want to do that to yourself? So ironically, in 2020, to be successful, you want simple ad campaigns. You don't want to touch them. It doesn't mean, I can never touch it because, Dennis said, if I touch it, I'm going to reset the learning curve. You're not going to edit your ads. Instead, you're going to duplicate your ad sets, yeah? And you're also going to have only a few campaigns because the campaign is at the objective level. Are a lot of you guys confused by things like campaign budget optimization? A lot of people ask about this. Doesn't matter if you have your campaign set up properly. You have one campaign per objective, and unless you are a big spender, you probably want to have only 2 or 3 campaigns, one at each stage in the funnel, from awareness to consideration to conversion. And then within each campaign, you might have 3 or 4 ad sets. Within each ad set, you might have only 2 or 3 creatives. If you go any more sophisticated than that, you might think like, oh yes, look, I have hundreds of campaigns. You're just wasting money because any one ad set, how much data does it need for Facebook to be able to optimize? You are very smart. What's your name? Marshall's very smart. You should talk to him. He should come up and tell you, right? And so it's funny because the smaller the advertiser, the more junior, the more basic their experience, the more I see them creating these massively complicated accounts. And then what we do is we come in and we just delete, and say, okay, where's the good content? Let's have large remarketing audiences. Let's have large lookalike audiences. And then the campaign starts to work, okay? Let's go back to let's open a new tab. Actually, move to the tab to the left, and let's go to Pet Party. Just type in Pet Party. No, go to where you were. Type in Pet Party into the search box. It says search there. There's no searches that actually occur in there. First one. You know what people are doing in there? They're navigating. No one types in best Italian or best hummus in Tel Aviv. No one types that into that box. It says search, right? Okay, now let's scroll through the feed and let's look at some of these posts. Close that. And look at these posts, right? Where do you think these are coming from? By the way, this is not only because people will say, I do B2B, who's the previous guy who's talking about like taxes in Cyprus? Like, why would no one wants to talk about that, right? Well, I think money's very sexy. But it's not just photos and celebrities and travel and exotic cars. It's anything. This works for any vertical. So don't think, he's showing a very particular example because he has, the Golden State Warriors as a client or the pet folks. No, it's anything. I promise you it'll work for anything. Why? Because it ties to people and the stories. Everyone has a story they're trying to overcome, right? If I was the previous guy, I would tell a story about a business owner where he didn't have his IP set up properly and then he got to have to pay all these crazy taxes and then all the trouble that was. I would tell stories, right? And look at all these. Now, where do you think this is coming from? Clients, customers, people that are buying. So, who is doing his marketing for him? His customers. So, I would ask you, who is doing your marketing? Are you getting your customers and clients and partners to do your marketing? What carries more weight? Me on stage saying, I am the best in the world at Facebook ads. I'm going to beat my chest. I'm so good. Or someone else saying, this is Dennis. We're bringing him on stage at CNN, and he is going to talk. We're going to ask him some questions about Facebook, right? And so you want to be in the situation where you are sharing other people's content. You're uplifting them. They're talking about you. Never talk about yourself on Facebook because then you look like some bragging, self-pompous, look at me, chest beating. Is there a word for that? Is schmuck? You never want to be that, right? So we have a process to collect this. I'm going to show you what that process looks like. Let's go back to the deck. and start scrolling through it. Command tab to the deck. Keep going. The whole process. Oh, go back one. Now here's 5 stages of how you're going to organize and collect your content. Okay? Now you might come all the way to the last stage and say, oh, this is too complicated. Well, just start from where you are. Because if you're missing any one of these stages, everything else is just going to fall apart afterwards, right? So the first stage is you want to have your funnel set up, your basic audiences in terms of awareness, consideration, and conversion. So you know that you have remarketing and the different kinds of custom audiences. There's 3 kinds of audiences you can make on Facebook. The custom audiences drive the lookalike audiences. Saved audiences you can start with if you don't have any custom audiences. Obviously, the better you have your custom audiences and the larger they are and the more you can segment them, the more you can build different kinds of funnel paths. Yeah? So we won't talk about what the differences are between these different audiences and how you can do combination audiences. But you can see different combinations, saved audiences, core audiences. One of my favorite things to do is I like to target by workplace. This is getting increasingly more difficult. So what I do is, if I was on CNN, I would take that video and then I would target it to people that work in the Wall Street Journal or Washington Post or whatever it is, right? And get more stories, more coverage. And you do it for employment. You can do it if you're mad at a particular company. Maybe United Airlines or El Al mistreated you, so you write an article about that and you target their executives. I've done things like that many times. It works very, very well. Keep going. So you have these different kinds of audiences. We don't have time to go into that. There's different ways of building lookalike audiences that are nested. And Facebook changes this all the way, all the time. Digital plumbing is your whole foundation of all your assets. It's your remarketing. It's your tracking. Who's using Google Tag Manager? Oh my goodness, you guys are really smart. Normally, it's like 1%, 2% of the people. Why are you going to use Google Tag Manager? Wait, he's talking about Facebook ads. Why is he talking about Google Tag Manager? Because inside your container, you're going to put your Google pixel, not your Google Analytics pixel alone. You're going to put in your Google Remarketing pixel, your Facebook pixel, your LinkedIn pixel, your Twitter pixel. You can put in a Quora pixel. You can put in a Snapchat remarketing pixel. You understand how web remarketing works based on the pixel? You're going to put all those pixels inside one container and drive it through Google Tag Manager. Google Tag Manager integrated with your Google Analytics, integrated with Google Search Console, which used to be Webmaster Tools for people that are older and remember SEO, integrated with all the other tools that Google has. Yes, all integrated inside one. All your data in one place. Why? Why? Smart person. Yeah, because anytime something happens in one channel, you want to immediately follow them around all over Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, and something happens here in email, because you have an email list, of course. We're all smart here. We all have email lists. I want to then remarket that on the other channels at the same time. I want all of my channels to work together. This is nothing about Facebook ads, even though Facebook happens to have more data. I like to start with Facebook. That's all part of your digital plumbing. As you start to get more complicated, sophisticated, not complicated, you're going to move traffic through these 3 stages of the funnel. Now, you've probably heard people say, oh, we're going to move people from this one where they understand who we are, then we try to tell them we have about a product, then we try to sell them, right? You probably have heard this kind of user journey. I'm going to tell you what you actually want to do is start at the bottom of the funnel and then move up. So why? You're going to start with remarketing because you need to make some money to then invest it in the middle of the funnel. And that gives Facebook a better signal. It gives Google a better signal. Because you know the closer you can get to the conversion, the better it's going to be. And then when you have strong remarketing audiences where you're sharing your knowledge, which is the consideration, the why stage, I'm sorry, the how, why, how, what, you can then reinvest up into the top of the funnel. So the money you make, you're going to reinvest one level up, and then you're going to reinvest one level up. If you start at the top and you go by engagement to then drive remarketing and then drive sales, you may end up building lots of low-quality audiences that don't link to the sale down here at the bottom. So you're getting lots of clicks, lots of views, lots of whatever, but it doesn't result in sales in the bottom. And then you say, oh, Facebook doesn't work. It's because you didn't start with the signal of who you want and then be able to move that up. You see, the user moves down. Us, as marketers and business people, we move bottom up, right? Have you heard this before, or is this new? Or you disagree? I'll take that as a yes. So when you build these different stages, it's why, how, and what. It's also know, like, and trust. Right? Just like a relationship, when you're dating and first kiss and eventually marriage, right? It takes multiple steps. Think about how you're doing that with your customers, right? Start at the bottom, move up. There's lots of stuff. Okay, 1-minute videos. This is the key on how you're driving sales. And some people would argue 15-second videos like Instagram stories and 9:16 format. Some people say 10-second videos because of things like Snapchat, swipe ups. And I've seen some people talk about 5-second videos, depending on the kind of audience that you want. It's not just kids. When you tell a 1-minute video, when you assemble a 1-minute video, you want to follow a particular structure. And the most common problem is that when people are doing video, it's in landscape. When you're holding your phone, like this gentleman here, he's holding his phone vertically, yeah? You're not holding it horizontal, you're holding your phone vertically. Anyone taking pictures, you're holding your phone, oh no, you're holding it landscape. But vertically, and that will give you the whole screen. 2 is you start with the story right away. For example, when I was 18, I dropped out of high school because I wanted to be a professional athlete. I know I'm overweight, like look at this. But I wanted to be a professional athlete back then and work for Nike, right? That's a story. So I'm telling you a story. I go immediately into the story, not a bumper, not my logo and company name, none of that. No one cares about that. I need to tell my story first. And I can interview other people. If you don't want to be on camera, I don't want to be on camera. I'm an engineer. Can you imagine this? I'm an engineer here trying to tell you guys how to do things. Normally engineers want to be back here doing code, right? Israelis, you guys have the best engineers. So you tell the story to connect with people emotionally because of something that's happened, because I love to interview other people. I don't want to be on camera. The best way to not be on camera is point the camera over there. That way it's not me. And we collect lots of these. And then because of this story, I believe that 15 seconds. And then I'm Dennis Yu. I help 7-figure entrepreneurs grow their businesses through digital marketing, right? I help X achieve Y by doing Z. That's it, 5 seconds. Not, and here are all the services, and here's the pricing, and here's all the features, and here, no. When you're just telling a story, it's all that at the end. The bulk of it is telling the story. Then the bigger picture. Well, because of this, I believe that mentorship's important. Because of this, we honor the Sabbath, and we realize that God comes first. We realize that if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of our customers, right? Put your own mask on first before you help someone else. Whatever the bigger mission is, something that happened. And then what did you learn? What's the deeper meaning that people can connect with? And then who you are. You see? And only when you've done that have you earned the right to say who you are. And this is what we find works on Facebook. People can do all the tuning and knob twisting and whatever on their Facebook ads, and then we go back, and 99% of the time, it's because their content isn't video and it doesn't resonate in this framework. We have done this for lawyers and dentists and furniture stores and basketball teams and online digital marketing, info product sellers, personal brands, public speakers. Every single kind of business out there, this framework works. When I believed that, and I am. As you get faster and better and you keep tuning, you're going to take your very best ones and put it into your greatest hits, which is what we call your 3x3 video grid, right? The very best 3. So guess what? Your first videos are all going to be in here because by default, they're your best. And you're going to find better and better ones until you start to build out this thing that we call the topic wheel. You're going to use these things we call the standards of excellence to determine what is a winner. Now, the topic wheel is your funnel, but shaped into this onion kind of format. On the very outside is your why. Lots and lots of little 1-minute videos. You can take a longer video and cut it into lots of little 1-minute videos. That's how we cheat. It's like, I don't have time for video. Fine. Once per month, sit down for 30 minutes and record something, maybe along the beach or something like that, right? Bat Yam, beautiful. We were walking there yesterday. And then that sequence remarketing, right? To the how, where because of this story, let me teach you more about this particular item. I'm using Facebook and Google's algorithm to figure out who is most likely to engage, who's most likely to buy. And I'm letting their system determine which ones move from why to the how to the what, which is the center. The center is the hub. That's where you're making money. So some people are tire kickers and they need to have lots of information and they're not ready to buy right now. Google and Facebook know that. You don't need to force that. Let them do the work for you. It's just like Amazon. Are you guilty on Amazon buying lots of things? I do all the time, right? And you buy this and they say, oh, you should also buy that. Or if you want, like this show on Netflix, you might also like to watch this one and this one. Pretty soon you've lost 2 hours, right? You lost the whole day. And that's what this system's doing. We're moving from why to how to what and letting the system determine what the particular path is that anyone needs to take. So think about all your content put into this particular structure. Now we practice what we preach so that I'm doing this myself through this structure called the topic wheel. So here's 6 topics that I care about. 3 personal and 3 professional. You're going to put in some personal ones because you want to show that you're a person. If you're the business owner or there's a figurehead who's a CEO or you have a key customer, you can build topic wheels around those people and around your company. And then you take those topics and you associate them with people who have authority in those areas. So let's say, for example, entrepreneurship. And I say, I have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience about entrepreneurship, but I'm also friends with Gary Vaynerchuk, and he and I have made a number of videos together. Certainly when I'm interviewing him, he has authority when it comes to entrepreneurship, right? So I'm able to anchor his authority into my topic wheel. Now all of a sudden his audience is my audience. So I'll take videos of me and Gary Vaynerchuk, and then I'm going to target who on Facebook? I'm going to target his fans. Now what do you think that does for relevancy? What do you think it does for engagement rate? What do you think it does for my average CPM? What do you think it does for all these other metrics? Very good, right? And that's how you kind of cheat the system. That's how you hack the system. I can do this with lots of stories as I'm constantly trying to build this out. Do you think I'm the one doing this? Do you think I am horrible at video editing? Are you good at video editing? No one wants to do video editing, right? We have Yoli here who's capturing video and doing video editing, right? This gentleman's fantastic. I can't do all the stuff that he knows how to do. But we have VAs in the Philippines that are doing this, for example. And so you keep building out. Whatever you're doing from a business standpoint, you're going to build out your network. The topic wheel we said was 6 topics, 3 people for each topic. So that's 6 times 3. But I can go further. I can add in more topics, and I can go deeper than 3. And now, any content that I'm producing is not based on a calendar. Oh, here's my November calendar, my December content, my January content. Oh, here's my spring sale. Here's a holiday. No. The majority of my content is being put into here so it's evergreen. That's the second biggest mistake we see with Facebook advertisers is they make one-off expiring content that dies. What a shame. Do you really like the idea of building content and then it just dies? I want to reuse content. Stories last forever. I think about Disney and Pixar. The stories last forever. Aladdin, still be valid 20 years from now, right? What are the stories that you can tell? In terms of what you are selling and your best customers and the things that they have to say, can you imagine what those stories are? Are they evergreen? Can you reuse them? Why not? I bet you have some stories. They could have been from years ago. You might, that was a few years ago. That's okay. I bet you that those stories you could take, stick it into the structure, do a little bit of video editing against it, put it into the format that we need to have, and you'll get ROI, right? It's like an asset that produces. Why would you kill a campaign that's producing profit for you? I just don't understand why would you do that, right? Think about this structure, evergreen. You do it for, this is one of the top insurance salespeople in the United States. Here's his topics. Here are the people that he knows in these particular areas. Here's another one. This guy runs a company that makes fitness equipment. So he's interviewed all these other people in fitness. Yeah, and then at the very top, the 5th level in your content sophistication is long-form video through a podcast, through interviewing other people. Now you take that long-form video. It could be an hour-long interview about whatever it is. It doesn't have to be professionally shot. Just be you and an iPhone, literally. Like this. You do an interview, let's say, right? Maybe you have Itai and here, and I'm here with Itai at DMIEXPO, blah, 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 blah. And then we have that go back to, whether you use Google Photos or iCloud or Google Drive, right? That goes back to your team to be able to pull out different snippets out of that. We use Fancy Hands, well, that's in the US, but any services that you might use or your own team to then cut that up into little snippets, to cut that up into memes, to turn them into blog posts, to transcribe them into articles. You follow me on that? You see how you can take a winner, you can multiply these assets out? That's the biggest thing that we see, like Gary and I, we talk about this all the time, where you're reusing content into multiple pieces. You're repurposing content. So I could take a 5-minute clip on CNN, and I could break it out into 30-second sound bites. And I could add bumpers at the beginning and end. I could turn it into articles here. I can turn it into tweets. I can embed it in my marketing material. I can use it in all of the stuff. All the stuff I see, how there's different formats. I can use it to support any other point that I want to make. It could be in the future, or it could be from a long time ago. See how I can reuse content? This means, next slide. See, keep going. I can keep doing this. I can use tools to do this. And then if I'm boosting, if I have this is boosting on Instagram. Instagram's way cheaper than Facebook, just not quite as sophisticated, same platform. You guys know that, right? It's owned by Facebook. A lot of these kids say, I'm not on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Yeah, you're on Facebook actually. See? And we're doing the same thing because we have our plumbing set up. We have we have Instagram as a business profile connected back to our Facebook Business Manager. If you're not using Facebook Business Manager, you're in trouble. Because when you get a disapproval or some kind of problem, you won't have any kind of recourse. Tie all your personal ad accounts back into your business manager. Have a backup business manager, have a backup ad account. You'll thank me later. A lot of you are going to run into this trouble in the next month or two, and then you're going to remember, oh, no, I didn't follow what he said. I should remember that was really important. So lots of content, it's going to be personal, but it's also going to be permanent. Some people say, I don't want to do this like live kind of content. I'm very serious. I do, tax accounting in Cyprus. Yes, but you also have to build a personal relationship. So how do you do that together? Let's just skip past most of this. We're running low on time. Keep going. Okay, let's go back one. Go back to the personal branding framework. People buy from people. So it could be you as a personal brand. I don't want to be a personal brand. I'm only doing it to show you that it's possible. Even someone like me can do this, right? It could be a key customer. It could be a key employee. It could be anybody. What you're going to do is figure out, on the blue here, the goals, content, and targeting, what they stand for. You're then going to produce assets. It could be video interviews. Let's say that you run a chain of plumbers, right? You fix broken toilets, and you have people that go around, technicians. As they're going around and they're spending time with these customers, right when they fix the toilet, right? Say, hey, that was so amazing. Can I just capture what you think? Oh, yes, it was so good. They came right away. They're so polite. Thank you so much, right? Or the wedding photographer, or whatever service that you have. What do you sell? Cosmetics. So imagine you have a lot of these women that love your products. Absolutely. And what are you doing to collect that, right? Whoever the practitioners, or is it just online, or you meet people in person online? So you have contests to gather user-generated content. Or maybe you're at events, or what have you, right? Or you have these celebrity influencer people, right? There's so many ways to collect this content that you then distribute on all these different channels, and the ones that are working well, you're then going to amplify it, meaning you're going to put money against it. That's when you advertise. The whole thing with Facebook ads is if it's not working organically, why would you try to pay, right? If the car is already stuck, the emergency brake, and you can't move, why would you try to floor it? It's not going to work. It's the same algorithm that governs organic and paid. I can tell you this, it's the same engineers, right? So I'm going to take the strategy, and I'm going to push it into different assets using a team. I'm then going to distribute it, and then I'm going to amplify it. Okay, keep going. Now we're going to go really, really fast. Okay, my buddy Brennan, right? He's got the sock company. He's got 60 virtual assistants in the Philippines following this particular process, collecting content. People are so happy their pets have their socks, right? He's got more socks than anybody I know. He's got these partnerships. He'll donate to these nonprofits. And then they'll say, yeah, every sock we sell, $5 goes back to our nonprofit using their custom audiences connected back to his business manager. The virtual assistants are collecting all the stuff along the way. And there's training against every one of these steps. Don't do anything in your company that doesn't have repeatable training against it. That means next slide. Keep going, right? Here's another guy. Oh, go back. So we hire virtual assistants from the Philippines, $3 an hour. Someone was complaining about how expensive the stuff here is in Israel. You can hire someone in the Philippines for $400 a month full-time. College educated, works for you, 8 hours a day, very loyal. We have 6 roles that we train into. We don't hire anybody unless they go through the training, they get qualified, and then we monitor these particular tasks and we give bonuses based on how well they do. I'll give you all the training on how we do this. Oh, let me show you one quick thing here. So let's say that you're applying, you're a Filipino, go back one. You're Filipino, go back one. Go back one. You're Filipino, no, you went forward, go back one, there you go. And you're applying to be a general VA. And all these people, they're applying. We get so many, we get thousands of people that apply that want to work at our company because we employ so many people already. And if they're not using the keyword, go back to that slide where we were. And if they don't use the word rabbit, then we know they didn't pay attention because in the long job posting, in the middle we say rabbit to show you're paying attention, right? And we know exactly what stage they are. They go through 3 different stages, okay? That's how we tell. We reject almost everybody before they come in to see if they're following directions. If we're hiring a video editor, they have to actually edit video as part of their submission, not just show me the portfolio. Here's raw video. You need to edit this video according to this standard, right? Isn't that a great way to hire? You should do that too if you hire people. Keep going. Let's just zip all the way to almost to the end. There's a whole process on how we do this. I'll give all this to you. I want to see you grow. I want to create lots of jobs. That's our mission. We have checklists for anything that you might want to do. Lots of checklists. I'm happy to talk to you about any of these checklists. Come see me. I'm here all day today and tomorrow on how you generate this and how you collect this content. It may look like a lot. I'm a master chef. I love food. I always think about repeatable checklists. Okay, go back. Now here's what you need to do. Make a 1-minute video. Pull out your iPhone. Go interview somebody, like Dylan here. Hey, can we give Dylan a hand for going through the slides? Isn't that fantastic of him? Go up to anybody or yourself and say, you know, blah, 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 blah. Just practice. Oh, I don't like my hair. Like he and I, we have no hair, so it doesn't really matter. Just make a 1-minute video. Learn how to get good at this. Like you're an interviewer, not self-promoting. Say, oh man, it's so awesome. I'm here at DMIEXPO. I'm going to be back again in 6 months, right? I learned so much. Or one of the vendors out there, make that 1-minute video. Post it to Facebook. Post it to Facebook. Where are we? Come on. Make a 1-minute video. Post it to Facebook or LinkedIn. And then number 3, email that link by midnight tonight to operations@blitzmetrics.com. Tonight. If you try to do it tomorrow, if you've collected so many business cards or whatever that you forgot, and then 2 weeks later you come to me saying, hey, I was so busy, you know, can you do this? And I'll say, no, remember, our deal is you have to do it by midnight tonight. Oh, but I go to the party. I'll do it after I do the, no, do it like now, right? Make your 1-minute video, do it at lunchtime, but don't forget, because if you don't make the 1-minute video, you're not going to succeed in Facebook. Oh, no, I need a professional videographer like Yoli to be able to do this for me. No, you don't. 1-minute video, that is the key. Everything here, success on Facebook, on YouTube, is you understanding how to do video, not someone else. You have to do the video. Could be pushing the video at someone else. I don't want to be on the camera, right? Do that. Post it to Facebook. Don't send me the MP4, right? But the URL, send it to operations@blitzmetrics, and I'll give you all this training here that I'm showing you because I want to see you go through these checklists. I want to see you unlock ROI on Facebook. Thank you guys very, very much for having us.